There was stunning news in the worlds of politics and media today when Fox News announced that they were abruptly cutting ties with their top-rated host Tucker Carlson less than a week after a massive settlement over the Dominion voting system's defamation lawsuit. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. We've been doing this show for just over 9 years. 8 of those have been dominated by the nonstop insanity of the Trump era. So I didn't think anything could shock me anymore. Then today, this happened.
Big breaking news in media. Big business story, big media story, big political story. Fox News announcing in the last hour, Tucker Carlson is out, effective immediately.
Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News? Oh my God. Does this mean Fox News has gone woke? When I heard that news, I went through all the stages of Tucker's face in one sitting. First, I was shocked. Then I was confused. Then I did the Tucker laugh. That's actually closer than you think. But then I had so many questions. What are we going to do without Tucker? Who else is going to tell us when M&Ms aren't anymore, you know? You know what would be really funny, though? If they replaced him at 8 p.m. with the new green M&M. That would be pretty funny. The decision was apparently so sudden that, according to the New York Times, Tucker Carlson was given no heads up that his time as Fox News is drawn to an end. The anchor was told of the network's decision on Monday morning, and the announcement from Fox was so stunning, even the network's own anchors seemed caught off guard when they read the official statement on the air today in what felt like a decree from state television and some sort of weird cult-like dictatorship.
We have some news from within our Fox family. Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have mutually agreed to part ways. Tucker's last show was this past Friday. And starting tonight, Fox News Tonight will air live at 8 p.m. Eastern. It will be an interim show with rotating Fox News personalities until a new host is named. We want to thank Tucker Carlson for his service to the network as a host and prior to that as a long-term contributor.
Wow, I seen more convincing reads on North Korean state TV. Tucker didn't even get a farewell show. Fox really knows how to disappear someone. I'm shocked they didn't just go with this as their statement. Tucker Carlson is not now and has never been employed by this network. We don't know who that is, and we've never even heard the name. Tune in tonight at 8 p.m. for our nightly newscast, hosted as always by Fox News stalwart, white blonde lady, blue dress. So you heard there, Tucker's last show was Friday, April 21st, which means, and this is totally real, that what I'm about to show you is his final segment as a Fox News anchor.
We'll be back. By the way, the entire episode of Let Them Eat Bugs, not quite as good as pizza, streaming now on Fox Nation. Use the promo code ORIGINALS for 30 days free. And we'll be back on Monday.
No, you won't. Turns out, even that was a lie. Truly amazing, though. His last segment on TV was not a rousing monologue or a grand farewell, but a reminder to watch a special report, I guess, about eating bugs, which apparently is a problem now. That sounds like how you get fired. Rupert Murdoch calls you up and says, "Hey, Tucker, eat bugs, you." And this is all such a fitting end for Tucker because he was always terrified that he'd lose his show after getting canned at 2 other cable networks, CNN and MSNBC, and he was specifically afraid that Donald Trump would be the one to destroy him, which is why Tucker spent so much time spoon-feeding Trump's bullshit to his viewers, despite knowing it was all bullshit. After the coup attempt on January 6th, Tucker called Trump a demonic force, a destroyer, but he's not going to destroy us. Tucker made the same mistake everyone else who sucks up to Trump makes. He thought he could harness Trumpism and use Trump for his own ends while remaining completely unscathed, but ultimately they all learned the same lesson. You can't let a tiger loose and not get mauled, even if it's the biggest, dumbest looking tiger in the zoo. Ultimately, I'm like, what? Tiger's not gonna catch me, whoa! Ultimately, Tucker's shtick caught up to him. His whole game was framing racist, conspiratorial bullshit in a just asking questions style, not taking responsibility for anything, but rather posing a bunch of ludicrous hypotheticals to scare his audience like this one.
Curt Schilling wrote a social media post defending Donald Trump. And in 2021, that's not allowed. You could lose your insurance for that. You could also lose your bank account, your website, your access to email and social media, your ability to communicate with the outside world, and there's nothing you can do about it because you can also lose your lawyer. No legal representation for you. How long before they cut off your water and electricity? Before UPS won't deliver your packages? And not to wreck your day, but guess what? Amazon is now one of America's biggest grocery providers. Good thing you don't need to eat.
How long long before they cut off your water and electricity? Before UPS won't deliver your packages? How long until they cancel your favorite TV show and fire your favorite TV show host? And what if that TV show host is a person named Tucker Carlson? And what if it turns out that you are Tucker Carlson and you realize mid-monologue that you're talking about yourself? What happens to you then? Do you go to CNN or MSNBC? Because if you can't, because those networks already fired you, what if you have to go to Newsmax and share a dressing room with Mike Lindell and he uses pillows even though they're filled with bricks and smell like urine? And what if Newsmax refuses to hire you and Amazon refuses to deliver packages and grocery stores refuse to sell you food? And in order to survive, you have no choice but to
eat bugs.
Now, as we mentioned, Tucker's abrupt ouster comes less than a week after Fox agreed to pay a whopping $787 million in the defamation case brought by Dominion Voting Systems for pushing Trump's deranged election lies. And they did that because they were terrified of losing Trump's audience. Now, personally, I would have loved to see a trial, mainly because it would have been so funny and cathartic to see Fox hosts like Tucker or Jeanine Pirro on the stand. The election wasn't rigged. I was just lying for ratings. Objection, Your Honor. The Bible the witness swore in on is actually a box of wine with Bible written on it in Sharpie. But that would have been bad for Fox, and Fox knew that. Rupert Murdoch himself would have been forced to testify, and based on how the deposition went, Murdoch knew that would not go well. After the deposition concluded, the general counsel of Fox Corporation tried to reassure Murdoch that he had done well. I'm just going to say it, they didn't lay a finger on you. Murdoch disagreed. He pointed a finger at the lawyer who had questioned him for Dominion and said, I think he would strongly disagree with that, to which the Dominion lawyer replied, indeed I do. Yeah, I would guess the last thing a Fox employee wants to see pointing their way is Rupert Murdoch's finger, AKA the Reaper's scythe. That's probably how Tucker got fired. Rupert just pointed a finger at him, and Tucker said, I'll get my stuff. Rupert Murdoch has never used that bony appendage for the purposes of delivering good news. Hi, you there! That's right, you. You know what you're about to get? An edible arrangement. It says, thanks for all the hard work. Did you put the Beatles in the honeydew? Oh, good, good. Very good. Eat bugs, So this case exposed the grimy inner workings of the right's leading propaganda network, like the fact that they all thought Trump sucked and thought his cronies were morons and weirdos. As you'll recall, one court filing in the case revealed that Tucker had said of Trump, we are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait. I hate him passionately. Among other things, it's so funny to me that Tucker talks like a divorcee from a soap opera. I'm so glad Alistair died in that skiing accident. I hate him passionately. Hello, darling. It's me. I'm back from the dead. And now I'm woke. But no matter how much they hated him privately, Tucker and his buddies know they have to keep Trump's base on their side, which is why they kept pretending to buddy up to Trump, which is why it was so poetic that one of Tucker's last acts as a Fox host was flying down to Florida to grovel in an interview with Trump where he pretended to be fascinated by every word Trump uttered. Watch Tucker's facial expressions in each of these exchanges with Trump.
I said, Abdul, if you do anything, you're going to get hit really hard. Literally, he said, but so why? I wouldn't say it was a long preparation, but I did want to talk about nuclear because I consider it to be the single greatest threat the world has. A beautiful female interpreter. She was very beautiful. Today, if you say it, they'll say, this is terrible. You're not allowed to say that. But she was very professional. She spoke every word for him.
He looks like a 12-year-old listening to his older brother talking about touching a female breast for the first time. Yeah, it was over the sweater, but still, it definitely counted. That's so cool. You're my idol. You can see it dawning on Tucker in real time. That's the moment he thought to himself, oh, I'm going to get fired. In fact, Tucker's prophecy that Trump was a destroyer seems to be coming true because as Tucker loses his job, Trump is ascendant in the polls over his likely main rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. DeSantis has been sinking in the polls, and instead of getting tougher, in response, he seems to be getting more nervous and looking pretty shaky.
What will Ron DeSantis do? He is trailing in the polls, struggling with endorsements, and Trump clearly smells blood.
According to a new Wall Street Journal poll taken last week, Trump pulled in 48% of the support among likely Republican primary voters. The next person closest to him is DeSantis, who is 24 points behind.
Governor, polls show you falling behind Trump. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not a candidate, so we'll see if and when that changes.
Holy, look at his face. He's acting like his mom just found weed in his sock drawer. Ronald, is this your marijuana? That would certainly explain why you've been eating pudding with your hands. Guys, there was a story about Ron DeSantis eating pudding with his hands, and we know it wasn't a big story, but we're going to talk about it a lot on the show over the next few months, so we'd love if you caught up. Guy who ate pudding with his hands thinks he should be president. Was just sitting there one day and was like, you know who'd make a good president? I think I would. This dude is supposed to be the great Republican savior. He's stammering more than Cousin Greg. I am not, as of this hereby moment, a candidate as such. And we shall see if and when, upon consideration of various factors, if that should change in any forthwith. It is too bad we won't get another Tucker DeSantis interview. They could have just made these faces back and forth at each other. Tucker's ouster was obviously a stunning development in the world of politics and media, but it was yet again another illustration of the core problem at the heart of GOP politics. They all try to suck up to Trump and harness Trumpism for profit or political gain, and in the end, they all get burned. In Tucker's case, he debased himself in service of Trump, and it didn't work. All he'll ever be remembered for is devoting an entire segment to a piece of candy, of which Tucker said,
She was very beautiful.
This has been a closer look.